Hi, welcome back to my channel, Beautiful Minutia. If you're new here, my name is Tiffany, and today I wanted to share my February TBR with you. So February is a shorter month, and yet I think I have more books than normal, and I think I did that last February as well. So I think that is kind of a theme, but there are some things that I'm doing every single month. Like I have a Patreon read every single month. I have an in-person book club every single month. I have my classic of the month. I have my read or read project every single month. And in addition to that, there are also some really special readathons that I'm participating in February as well. So the most special readathon that I am participating in February is We Love Jenny, which is a readathon to honor the memory of Jennifer Brooks. And I am having such a hard time still narrowing down the choices of what I want to read in February because there's so many things that Jenny recommended that I am so interested in. I will for sure be reading The Villa by Rachel Hawkins, which is our group read. So if you're unsure what to read for We Love Jenny, The Villa is a perfect choice. And if you've already read it, there is a channel on my Discord where we'll be discussing it. So if you want to hop in there and share your thoughts about it, feel free to do that. I also really want to read The Last of the Talons. I can't remember who wrote this. I don't have it yet. I've ordered it in from the library, and this is a book that is about a nine-tailed fox in Korean mythology. And something that Jenny and I bonded a lot over was our love for Tale of the Nine-Tailed, which is a K-drama. I think it was one of Jenny's favorites. It's one of my favorites also. And we both just absolutely adored the younger brother of the main character in that show. He was our favorite character in the whole show. And so she loved this book and recommended it. So it's one that I'm really interested in reading for that reason. She was also a big T. Kingfisher fan. And so I really want to read What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher because this is actually kind of, I don't know if it's based on or supposed to be a loose retelling of The Fall of the House of Usher by Edgar Allan Poe, which was my favorite Poe story when I was younger. It's still one that I absolutely love, but it's not my number one favorite anymore, but it's still really high up there, top 5 for sure. So for a really long time now, I wanted to read that and The Fall of the House of Usher and just kind of compare the two. So February might be a really good time to do that. Hello, editing Tiffany here. My dog is next to me and he's snoring, but it is what it is. I forgot entirely a book to put on here, and that is The Double by Fyodor Dostoevsky, which is one of his short stories / novella. I think it's more novella length because I think it's around 100 pages or something like that. I'm going to be reading that with Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space and Penny in memory of Jenny. So don't know how I forgot that one, but I did. So yet another one to add onto the list. I also have some nonfiction that I purchased exclusively because Jenny recommended it. When I was really getting into Russian literature, Jenny talked a lot about Robert K. Massey, and I watched one of her videos and I bought all of the Robert K. Massey Russian books, but the one that I really, really want to read is Nicholas and Alexandra because I read The Romanov Sisters by Helen Rappaport probably about a year ago, and Jenny recommended that book to me also, and ever since then I have really wanted to pick this one up. So this is a potential, but she a chunky one, and the other nonfiction that I have as an option is also a chunky one, and that's Romantic Outlaws, and this is a story about Mary Shelley and her mother, Mary Wollstonecraft. And so this would tie in really well with The Villa because The Villa is really about Mary Shelley, I'm pretty sure. And so reading a nonfiction about Mary Shelley's life, I feel like would tie in really well. This also ties into Febregency, as does the Romantic Poets. I have this beautiful, beautiful collection that my friend Joanna sent me, and I love it. I've read some from it, but not all of it. So I definitely would want to read some Shelley for sure. I'm reading this for Febregency as well as for We Love Jenny. So this would tie in for Febregency as well. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to do yet because there's no way that I can read both of these chunky non-fictions in the month of February. So I'm going to have to pick one. So maybe I'll try a chapter and then decide which one I'm going to read. Speaking of Febregency, and also this does tie into my classics for the year because this is the book that I chose because I knew Febregency was happening in February, is The Vicar of Wakefield. Can you even read that? You can't see the front. So The Vicar of Wakefield by Oliver Goldsmith. I ordered this on like thrift books or something and had no idea that I was getting this gorgeous antique edition. Love it so much. Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space read this last year and loved it and told me I needed to read it. She sent me some quotes from it and I'm like, oh my gosh, I really do need to read it. So this is happening for both Febregency and for my Classics TBR. For my Patreon book club, we are reading through the Lord of the Rings trilogy. This has been such a special reread for me. We read The Hobbit in December, Fellowship of the Ring in January. So in February, we will be reading The Two Towers, and I'm so looking forward to reading this. This is my favorite movie of the three, but it's been so long since I've read the books that I don't know if I have a favorite book of the three. So we'll see. For my in-person book club, we wanted to do something kind of romantic because it's February, so we'll be reading When the Day Comes. Don't remember who this one's by. Gabrielle, someone. I have it on Kindle, so I don't have a physical copy. So this is actually a Christian romance, but it's got some sci-fi elements to it as well. This is one of my book club members' favorite books of the year last year. My friend Kelly loved this book and recommended it. And so I'm really excited to read it because I tend to shy away from Christian fiction, which sounds bad because I am a Christian and I love the Lord and I love clean literature, but I've read a lot of Christian fiction that is just honestly kind of poor quality, to be completely honest. And I know that there's some out there that's not, but I got burned so many times that I just stopped wanting to waste my time on books that just felt really shallow or really like preachy in a way that was like hit you over the head with it. And so that's part of the reason I love classics so much, is that classics delve into some really deep and meaningful spiritual topics in a way that is like really meaningful. But I keep hearing about really good sounding Christian fiction recently that makes me want to dip my toe back in. So I'm actually really excited about this one. This is about a girl who is living in two different time periods at once. So she goes to sleep in one time period and then wakes up in the next, I think is how it works. And when she turns a certain age, she has to choose which place she's going to end up in. So I'm really interested in this because I think that the premise of it sounds really, really interesting. And I really want to give it a try. I want to dip my toe back into Christian fiction because I know that there are good authors out there. I just haven't, I've just been too gun shy to give it a try. For my Read-A-Rid project this month, I'm following Chantel's Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, and I am following the Sir Arthur Conan Doyle track. I'll link that video in case you haven't seen it because she explains how it all works. But basically the prompt for February, I think, is to read a book that's 250 pages or less than 300 pages, something like that. So I'm going to be reading That Was Then, This Is Now by S.E. Hinton. This is a sequel to The Outsiders, which I love. Read it a few years ago and just adored it. Not many people have read this sequel that I've heard talk about it, and the people who have didn't really like it. So I don't really have high hopes for it, but she real short. Okay, a couple of other books that I have here, because that's not enough already. I am in the progress of reading the Pickwick Papers. I'm reading this with Penny and Chantel, and it's been really fun to read with them. We've just been reading a chapter a day, which is so manageable. So I will finish this a few days before February is over. So I am thrilled about that. This is a book that I feel like has taken really well with one chapter a day, because a lot of the chapters, though I've seen some overarching threads and storylines that keep weaving back in, a lot of the chapters feel very episodic. So to read a chapter a day is actually working really well for me. Also with Penny and with Stephanie from Miss Richards Reads, I am going to be reading Dr. Thorne by Anthony Trollope. This is the third book in the Barsetshire Chronicles. So last year, about a year ago, I read Barchester Towers, and about like 4 or 5 months before that, I had read The Warden. I really liked The Warden. I liked parts of Barchester Towers, but even when Anthony Trollope writes books that aren't as long, they just feel kind of long to me. But most people say that their favorite books of the Barsetshire Chronicles are like Dr. Thorne or like some of the later books. And so I'm gonna give this one a try. I usually like his books in the beginning and then I just don't like them as much as they go on. So I'm really hoping that Dr. Thorne will be an exception. I love his sense of humor. He breaks the fourth wall a lot, but I usually just don't connect to or love most of the characters. So we'll see how Dr. Thorne goes. It's not as long, I don't think. Oh, well, it's close to 500 pages. So it's longer than it looks in this edition. And lastly, my friend Penny sent me a book for Christmas, The 28-Day Fast Start Day by Day. This is by the author who wrote Fast, Feast, Repeat about intermittent fasting, which is something I've been really interested in and that Penny has been doing. And so she's been talking to me a lot about it, and she so sweetly sent this to me for Christmas. And when I saw it, I was like, that's going to be perfect for February, 28 days. And then I was like, wait a second, it's a leap year. So technically it's 29 days, whatever, it's fine. So I am gonna give this a try. I think that the chapters themselves are pretty short. They have like just kind of, there's stuff at the beginning about intermittent fasting, but then there's stuff for kind of like information and reflection and spaces for you to write how you were feeling that day and stuff. So it kind of like sets you up for success to kind of like, how are you feeling? Is this working for you? You can tweak this, you could try that. And so I think that's really interesting. So I'm really looking forward to giving this one a try. I was going to try to read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson in February as well, but I started looking at this TBR, and once we started planning the We Love Jenny readathon, a lot of the kind of more loose plans I had, it just kind of went out the window because I have so many books that I want to read like Jenny. I didn't even mention them all here. I just mentioned the ones that I'm leaning the most towards, but I have a lot that I want to read. So this is probably an unobtainable TBR for the month of February, and I probably need to be okay with that. But there's just so much to read, so little time, which is kind of how I feel just about every month, but I feel that way that much more this month because of We Love Jenny readathon. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. What are you reading in the month of February? Are you participating in any readathons or anything interesting? What are you the most excited to read in February? I'm kind of having a hard time deciding what I'm the most excited to read because I'm really excited about The Vicar of Wakefield. I'm really excited about What Moves the Dead. I'm really excited about whatever nonfiction I choose. That's like Jenny. I'm so excited about The Two Towers. Maybe I'm just excited about just about everything, except that was then, this is now. I'm not as excited about that. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please hit like and also subscribe so you can continue to see more bookish content from me, and I will see you again next time.